Hi guys, so welcome to part 1 of my vlogging series about PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome. Okay, so PCOS, like I said, stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. The title is a misnomer because it kind of implies that it just is an illness or a disease or a syndrome or however you want to call it that simply affects your ovaries, and that's not the case. More aptly, it should be called an endocrine disorder or hormone function disorder, something along those lines. Now, that being said, it doesn't just affect your fertility and your ovaries like a lot of people think. When you think back to like basic level anatomy classes, chemistry classes, biology classes, and you think about the endocrine system is not merely centered around one thing. So endocrine system, people tend to think things like liver functioning, hypothyroidism, and then that's kind of where the buck stops for them, and that's not the case. Your endocrine system affects everything, and thus polycystic ovarian syndrome affects everything. So at its base, polycystic ovarian syndrome is caused by a hormone imbalance. Either you have too much estrogen and not enough androgens being the male hormones, or you have too many androgens, meaning testosterone and other male hormones, or not enough estrogen, which that is my case. Too much testosterone, not enough estrogen. That being said, I'm gonna stop right here and say that please, if you cannot be mature about this, don't leave hateful, hurtful comments here. I don't know if this is gonna go past the booktube community, and most of you guys have been perfectly awesome the entire time, but we know there are trolls, and if this goes past the booktube community to the rest of YouTube, I can just see the comments that I'm gonna get. But at any rate, mostly, like I said, too much testosterone, not enough estrogen. There are multiple ways you can fix this, the lightest level of hormone therapy being birth control pills. But if you have a high family history of cancer, PCOS already increases your risk of, cervical cancer, as well as, it's another one, I'll put the name here, I just can't think right now because I'm really nervous about this. And then birth control pills kind of increase that risk as well, so that's not something I felt comfortable taking on because my maternal side of the family has a very high history of cancer. So like multiple aunts, both my maternal grandparents, it's just not a risk I felt safe taking. So other things you can take, metformin, which is a diabetes medication kind of, spironolactone, which is a water pill basically, like Lasix is a diuretic, it's for blood pressure and water fluid retention, but it's just one of those medications you can take for other functioning. Spironolactone does kind of help maintain your hormone functions if you don't want to take birth control pills. So what are the symptoms of PCOS? PCOS is oh my god, the symptoms are so wide functioning. It's hard to kind of diagnose, especially if you're a smaller person, because one of the trademark things, so to speak, with PCOS is they tend to think that everybody that has it is overweight. So if you're not, they don't readily diagnose you with it, and they just kind of go, don't worry about this. But your periods will be thrown off. You can have extra hair growth everywhere. I don't know if you can really see from here, but like my sideburns, my hair gets real thin, but it comes like here on the base of my neck. My hair comes down real low. I do have hair problems facially. It's just a symptom of it. Also on your belly, like my arms are super, like it's fine, but my arms are hairy. It's just like everywhere that most people have really fine hair, it tends to be a little thicker. And then you also can kind of get it like that line men have beneath your belly button. You can get like facial hair. It's just PCOS is a pain in the dick. Also, I'm sorry, this is going to be kind of all over the place. Another thing that you can have with PCOS is you can have insulin resistance, which makes you predisposed for diabetes. So it kind of means you can be pre-diabetic. Everybody doesn't have this, but most people with PCOS, according to my endocrinologist, do. That just kind of means it doesn't mean that you don't make enough insulin, so you won't need to take insulin, but what that just means is that your body doesn't use the insulin that it has like properly. So you'll take a pill like metformin that just kind of like makes it easier for your body. It just like bridges the gap better. Like, it's hard to explain without really going into it, and I don't want to do that for like the science aspect of it. Other symptoms, other things that can affect your appetite, your menstrual cycles, your cognitive functioning if it gets bad enough. And I don't know if any of you have talked to me personally, not many have, but my memory is total shit now. And a lot of times when you see me in my videos and I'm like, crap, what's the word, like it kind of affects my cognitive functioning a lot. My memory has gotten terrible, and I noticed that when I'm not on my meds, and I have not, because since I've moved to Colorado I have not been able to get to a new endocrinologist yet, so I haven't been on any medications. My memory is total shit. There are words that are right there on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot for the life of me think of them to get them out. It's so fucking frustrating. It also affects your metabolism. So there are some things you'll get, like some people who have like pudgy bellies or pudgy arms or wherever, like different metabolism body types will have different problem areas. PCOS will make it really hard to get rid of those areas, and it also makes you kind of crave carbs a lot in my case, and that has to do with insulin resistance and all that kind of thing. It also affects your sleep. Sleep is hormone controlled, so like a lot of people can take melatonin, which is like one of those sleep inducing hormone kind of things to get your sleep cycle back on track, particularly if you take if you're a night shift worker. Melatonin will work for a lot of people because it's not a sleep medication. It just kind of is that natural hormone kind of a deal that you get in the dark. Basically, it has to do with like light cycles, sleep cycles, all that stuff. Melatonin doesn't do nothing for me because of my PCOS. Isn't that fun? It's so fun. Also, not sensitive to Benadryl at all. I can take 3 Benadryl, won't sleep a lick. It's a pain in the ass. As far as the ovary part about it and why it's called PCOS, again, polycystic ovarian syndromes, because you have cysts on your ovaries. But the cysts are not the cause of the problem. The cysts are really a side effect. So because of the hormone imbalance, what happens is when you ovulate, your ovaries obviously release an egg. The eggs grow in a sac on your ovaries. When your ovaries release that egg, the sac will more or less just kind of rupture and get reabsorbed into your ovaries or whatever the hell. It goes away. When you have PCOS, because of your hormone imbalance, you won't ovulate, but your body will continue to make those sacs. Since there's no egg in there, the sac won't rupture, and it just turns into a cyst, and you get multiple ones, and they hurt. They hurt like hell. And eventually, sometimes they will rupture, and some won't. Like mine, one ovary is worse than the other. But you will know when it should be time for you to ovulate, because that little sac that won't go away, you feel it when it ruptures finally. It hurts. Diagnosis is very hard. Like I said, one of the things you just start to notice little things. One of the bigger things that affects is your fertility, amongst all the other things, but people really won't notice all the other things are connected until it becomes fertility related. So in my case, I didn't have a cycle for over a year, and this was after a miscarriage. Like I said, since you don't ovulate, some people will take Clomid, which kind of makes you ovulate, but then you run the risk of being pregnant with multiples because it makes you release a bunch of eggs. It's like a super ovulator stimulator thing, and it's just, PCOS just fucks up everything. But everybody just kind of sees it as just like a little thing, like if you're not trying to have kids, it really won't mess with anything, but that's a lie. With PCOS, you're not supposed to have caffeine because caffeine affects your hormone levels as well. You're not supposed to eat certain things because of the insulin resistance. Like, PCOS can just tear your life apart. And everybody thinks it's a little thing, and you will too, until you actually see what all it's fucking up. So with me, because of my night shift, I can't let go of the caffeine, and then the caffeine makes my hormone imbalance worse, and then the hormone imbalance worse makes the sleep cycles worse, and then I need more caffeine. It's a vicious fucking circle, but I really can't get off a night shift. So that's the fun in that. I really can't get too in depth into it, or this will be a very long video, and I am not an endocrinologist. Yes, I am a nurse, but the things that I can get into and tell you about, I'll be here for forever. I just kind of want to give you an overview so those of you who don't know about it know like what all it affects. And it affects a lot of women. There are a lot of people that I know that I went to high school with that I'm finding out like around now in September when people start posting their PCOS awareness, like little ribbons and flags and pictures and stuff on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know all these women that I actually know in real life have this. So it's more common than you think. People just don't talk about it because it's embarrassing because of like the hair growth. Now that is a symptom, a diagnosing symptom as well. It's called hirsutism. I'll put it here. I can't pronounce it. That's a diagnosing symptom. Missing your periods is a diagnosing symptom. Not being able to drop weight, especially around your belly, is a diagnosing symptom. Start noticing issues with your blood sugar, that's a diagnosing symptom. But all of these things separately, some people will not have all of them. You'll have one or the other. I do have weight on my belly that I can't get rid of, but I'm not an overweight person, so they ignored that part. Like mine was hair growth and the missed periods, which can be a lot of stuff. So it's a long road. It took me even 3 years to even get diagnosed once I noticed that there was a problem. It took a while to even get the doctor to realize there was a problem, because sometimes when you have a miscarriage, your cycle's fucked up. So it's a very long road. It's a very miserable road. It's a very frustrating road because you feel like nobody else understands, and a lot of people don't, because they're like, oh, it's just this on your arm, quit being a little bitch. Alright, see you deal with it. So I mean, it's just one of those things, like one of those silence kind of a things, because it's not really life-threatening unless you start to get diabetes and you're non-compliant and all that other stuff. If you're not careful with your diet because you're predisposed, you can very easily get diabetes mellitus type 2, which is where you'll need to be finger sticking yourself all the time and taking insulin and poking yourself every day. And if you're not compliant with that, that can cause liver damage, kidney damage. You can start losing limbs. Like PCOS is not in and of itself life-threatening, but it predisposes you for a lot of things that are life-threatening. Endometriosis is the one I couldn't think of earlier. It's like cervical cancer, endometriosis, diabetes. It's just, it sucks. So I guess I'll wrap that up here. The next couple of vlogs, I will probably get in depth with my particular struggle with PCOS, meaning my fertility journey, because that's been kind of a bitch. And yeah, that'll take a couple. And then if you guys have any questions, or is there anything in particular you want me to answer or talk about, leave that in the comments down below, because I probably will put off filming the other in the series until I see the comments. See what you guys think, and if you want me to continue talking about it. So yeah, different kind of a video to get today, but thanks for watching. If you are still here, I very much appreciate it, especially because this is not a lighthearted thing to talk about, and it's very embarrassing for me to sit here and tell you guys about this, because even though none of you know me personally, it's still very fucking embarrassing to talk about it, especially considering like in and of itself what it is and affects. But yeah, so that's it for this vlog for today, guys. I will hopefully see you all down in the comments, and for my Teal Book buddy read for PCOS awareness. Yep, that's it. So I will catch you guys later. Bye.